Hello and welcome, everyone. You'll probably notice that we have muted you. We will unmute you. I can see that when you have a question, we'll unmute you. But if you're not speaking, we're going to ask everyone to stay muted. I don't think you can unmute yourself, but if you can, please stay muted. So hello and welcome. Wasn't that a great report, hey? So Kim will answer as many questions as she can. But for this to be a really smooth process and for it to be as fair as possible, I'm going to ask everyone to have a short, succinct one question for Kim. Now, if you continue on to have two questions, I'm going to jump in and say, hey, that's one question. We're going to move on. Okay, so forgive me. I will be doing that. Okay, so let's start. But before we do, for fairness, we're going to put everyone's hand down. And as soon as we do that, I'm going to ask you to raise your hands so it can be a fair process. So please raise your hands now.
That was fast.
It was. Okay, I'm handing over to Kim.
If I ever end up on Family Feud or something like that, these are my people right here.
We've got it organised.
Isn't that the game where you had to hit the buzzer? Yeah.
Okay, Kim, handing over to you, and then I'll tell you who your first person is. It is Nia Zamir. So if somebody can unmute Nia for me.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. My question is, you said you don't allocate new money anymore, so how come all the charts of M0, M1, M2 keep rising?
I don't know which charts you're looking at. And
Charts from the Federal Reserve.
well, they're very accurate, I'm sure, because they come from the Federal Reserve. But there is no new M0, M1, or M2. The only thing that they have been doing is getting credit lines from banks, the tier 1 banks, so like your HSBC, Credit Suisse, those types of places. The Federal Reserve is the lead bank for all of those banks. So credit lines against assets would be the only place I know of that is any kind of, it's not really new money, it's a credit line. So if they're counting that, then that's fine. But the Federal Reserve hasn't issued new allocations in a long time.
Well, the question about the money is actually a deeper question that is about the validation of your information, because when presenting your information to new people, they always ask for proof. So, for example, if you say you don't allocate new money, then they ask, how can it be? And if your answer for that the charts are wrong and everything is fake, it's kind of hard telling people that your information is true. So the actual question is like, what kind of proof can you give people who are asking, are you legit?
So the question would be, what is the proof? What proof?
Yeah, because for example,
because see, here's the thing with each individual human, they're going to define proof as one thing. So if I made another website for the Federal Reserve, or if they fix their website for you, would that be proof?
Yeah, if they will show that there's no money, it means that your information is real.
Because it says the Federal Reserve on the website.
This is where people get their information, not from a woman who claims certain things.
Oh, okay. Well, now how is the Federal Reserve's website stating that the money keeps rising going to help or hurt you or them?
Well, as I said, the main thing about this is finding validation for your information, because if you tell anybody about the stuff you are talking about, they will always ask for a proof after they look at you like you just fell from the moon. They will ask, where's the proof? How can you say it in real life? And so far, I'm thinking like, what proof can there be to show them here?
So I once did an interview with Chris Rice, and he was here in my house with a couple of other people. And we did this interview live, and he asked me for proof. So I pulled out a whole bunch of pictures that I had taken over the years from vaults in Germany, from places in China, from places in Russia, and I gave it one after the other after the other. I gave copies of what we call the Red Book, Blue Book, and all the other books that are behind the Federal Reserve. They even say Federal Reserve. They say Treasury. They say all kinds of different things. The Bank of England is in there. Bundesbank in Germany is in there. And of course, that wasn't proof either. Because people don't know what they're actually looking at. I don't know how else to give you proof. What would you like? Would you like to see the Federal Reserve blow up on live TV?
Well, actually, your story is about all the alien meetings and high technology and going to places. And if you could have like a video about somewhere or some alien species or an alien aircraft, whatever.
So do you, am I the only one you're asking to do this? Because nobody seems to question the deep state.
That's what everybody get used to.
Okay, but you're used to it with everybody else, but you're not used to it when I say it. Because they don't put out videos of them meeting people and or anything like that. Yet they tell you they do. I mean, Stephen Greer was done in many videos of people telling you and whistleblowing and describing underground bases, which, by the way, it's not like everybody brings a cell phone and snaps a selfie into those things. I'm sorry. Not even the deep state does that. So, but yet you believe them when they speak it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not?
Well, I actually believe more the stuff that you're saying. It resonates with me. But trying to transfer it to other people and get them to understand, it's like so hard without any proof that you can display.
Well, but also our job, like even my job is not to convince people that what I'm saying is true. It is not my job. My job is to put out the information so you are informed. You can take that information, you can leave that information, and this is something that's come up even recently. I have zero desire to be on YouTube. I have zero desire to be on camera. I have zero desire to do this part of my job. I do it because I'm supposed to. So I put the information out for people. If they want to believe it or they don't want to believe it, that's okay. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I have no desire to be a social media influencer with 1,000 or millions or followers. That's not what I'm here for. When people are ready to hear the information, they'll hear it. If they don't want to hear it, they don't want to hear it. Maybe one day we can take a trip into one of these old bases that doesn't exist anymore. Maybe one day we can take a selfie in there with a phone. But right now, any place that I've been like that, I mean, I've even been to banks in London where you walk in the door, you push the doorbell. There's just a little tiny card. It's about, I don't know, maybe the size of your finger. And it says what bank we're walking into. You push the doorbell, you ring the doorbell, they let you in. This is actually your Arab National Bank in London. You walk in the door, and the first thing you do is drop your passport, your phone, everything right there at the door into a basket. They basically, your arms are up, and they pat you down, make sure you're not carrying anything that you shouldn't be carrying upstairs, and then they let you upstairs. You can't even go into a bank for high-level banking without the full rub down kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that somebody's going to let somebody into a deep underground base with a video camera to record everything that they're doing? I've never seen even footage online and anything like that. There's some reenactments of like the pyramids in Alaska, Mount Denali. That's on the internet too. So.
Thank you for your answer.
The financial system is the financial system too. they're going to fake it till they make it. There are things that will tell you that the United States debt is, I don't know, 38 trillion or something like that. I can tell you right now that at one point in time, the U.S. debt was 190 or, sorry, not 196. It was 946 trillion. And that's Federal Reserve numbers. So, no, do they tell us? Do they feel the need to tell us anything they do? Not really. They just
Kim, I think that
status quo.
Yeah, Kim, that's really, really clear. So thank you very much for that question. And we're going to move on to the next person. And we're not going to address this question again. Okay, we've done it. We've given it time. So if you have that question, we're going to move on from that in future. Next person is Zeinab. I'm not sure how to say that, so I don't want to say it incorrectly. So the next person, if somebody could unmute that person for me. Thanks, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for your report. I'm actually sitting in Nairobi, Kenya, right in the Great Rift Valley. So, right in Africa. Thank you so much for your report today. My question is, are all the major religions a tool of control? And does this also include Kabbalah, especially the Jewish Kabbalah? And why are all the beings in Kabbalah, or say in the Jewish religion, have the L behind it? Israel, Ishmael, Raphael, Michael. What is that? Thank you.
Okay. As far as the people you're calling your Jewish Kabbalah, is that what you're calling them? Those people? Are you referring to the Order of the Dragon that I talk about? Let me see if she can answer. Nah.
Okay. So what's happened is, Camellia, did you put her hand down? I think you did. And then that means I can't see her.
I'll try to answer the best way I can. See, the Order of the Dragon are also your, what I'll call fake Jews. So there's people who are actually Jewish, born Jewish. There's nothing wrong with those people. They don't know anything about half of them, what we're talking about right now. They're just people born into the Jewish faith. As far as the deep state section, they are all basically bloodlines of various fallen ones. So they are like your Lucifers and all of that, who happen to be portraying themselves because of their control over Israel, that they are, say, in charge of that particular region, based on the fact that they might be lords of the alleged land. Does that mean they are under control? I don't think they're under control of their own selves right now, honestly. Meaning, do I think they're all of a sudden going to wake up and say, well, today's the day we're never going to make another war. Today's the day we're not going to try to rape and pillage lands and do all of these things. Probably not. But eventually they're going to run out of money to do it. And that's my opinion. I know the Federal Reserve would like to say otherwise, but that is my firm opinion, is that what they talk about in public and what they talk about behind the scenes are two different things. And that's what I see. I see constant fights between the Order of the Dragon, or the section, which is the Blue Dragon, which is the ones that portray themselves as Jewish mostly, or members of the 12 tribes of Israel, as they call themselves sometimes. They are constantly fighting with those below them and those with them, because they say a lot of things that don't actually happen. Meaning, this is the next payday. This is the next time they're going to be able to pay for that war in Gaza. They're going to be able to destroy that land, all that kind of stuff. Do I think it's actually going to take place? I think eventually they'll stop fighting and there'll be nothing left to fight over. But are they still going to play games with militaries and governments that they control the people there, mainly? because they are family in some way, shape, or form, probably.
Okay. Thank you.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. Eric. Eric is next. Can someone unmute him? Thank you.
Hi, Kim. Just had a quick question. How can I get access again to unitedtv.org?
There is, trying to remember her email address off the top of my head. Her name is Dawn. There is a Telegram channel for that. I do know that.
We can do this, Kim. We can,
Yeah.
Can somebody private message Eric Dye with the website? There's a new website, Eric, and another email address. So
Has it gone up already?
Okay.
Did she fix it? We were hacked, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they took down the website and the whole thing. Oh, okay. There it is. It's support at unitedtv. Is that supposed to be com? Oh, .co. Okay.
yeah, it's just .co.
Support
Thanks,
at unitedtv.co?
Yeah. So the website would be unitedtv.co.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I was really enjoying it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, the next person, Kim, is Donna. Can somebody please unmute Donna?
I see Donna's lips moving, but Donna's not saying anything.
Yeah, she's unmuted. She's unmuted now. Thanks, Donna.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Donna.
I just want to ask you, how are you really doing after all these years gone by?
I'm still here.
I see that. Just checking in, girl.
Much to people's dismay. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of long, hard days. This week was particularly crappy. But I mean, all in all, I'm starting to try to create more balance in my life, meaning I've started back working out a little bit. I'm starting to try to get out into the garden a little bit here and there. So I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I'm starting to block it all out. You know, kind of put things into a position where nobody's going to die. I mean, unless some alarm goes off or something like that.
Good.
I need a little bit of time. You know, I'm just got to the point there really where I was pretty burnt out for a while. I mean, not going to give up, just tired, you know?
Well, don't you, because we've all been there.
Yeah.
So, we love you. You stay
No.
strong.
Thank you for asking, Don. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. We love you.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, next person is Michelle. Can somebody please unmute Michelle? I'll let you know, Kim, when she's unmuted. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can unmute
Hey!
Michelle.
Hey, Kim. Hi.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, I just wanted to say, one, you rock. We love you, and we're so thankful for you
Oh,
and your hard work. And my question is, what are the satellites that we see in the night sky? What are they really? Because, you know, we can't see something from 1,100 miles away that's maybe the size of a bus or smaller, right? And that's what they're telling us these satellites are. So I'm wondering, are they like huge ships that we see at night? Like, what are those things we see that are small and faint and they go across the night sky?
probably. If they're moving that fast, satellites typically do not move that fast. At least not human-built satellites. They even have satellites that are smaller. It's called CubeSat. You can look that up.
But we shouldn't be able to see those though, right?
Probably not CubeSat, no, but you can see satellites. I mean, it looks like you'll oftentimes see like 2 or 3 lights together, you know, and you just kind of see it hanging there. You know, some people think it's a star or something like that. It's not. Satellites can move fairly quick, but when you see it zoom like that, oftentimes it's the SSP.
So do we actually have the ships in the night sky?
Does the SSP still have ships in the night sky? Yeah.
Okay.
Do we? Not that you could see, no, because we know better. If you actually see one of ours, then, you know, we don't. So it's a fine line between justifying what people are saying to one another about the existence of other beings. Then there's people that are going to say, oh my God, it's the War of the Worlds. We're all going to die. It's 2012, whatever show, movie that you watched, you know, where we're all going to die. So if that is actually visible for any reason, typically from our side of it anyway, it's because they want it to be and need it to be for a reason. But the zooming ones are often SSP craft.
Okay, cool.
Or a meteor. Could be a meteor.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, great. Next person is Melanie. So can somebody please unmute Melanie? Kim, I'll tell you when she's unmuted.
Okay.
Hey, yes, Melanie, welcome.
We've gone through so much different information about how to connect to God, source, and then recently you've talked about what was false light and false dark. So then I started to wonder, all the time that we've been connecting with source, because we've had all these veils and layers and all kinds of things at us and poking at us and everything, have we been connecting to real source or false light? Like the real light or the false light? And
my comment would be, remember, it's a lot of it is about the intent, and connecting. If you can connect your mind, body, and soul together, then it's all about your intent. Meaning, who are you trying to call? What are you trying to do? And you'll know if it doesn't feel right. It'll feel really strange to you, especially once you make those connections. I often see source as golden light. It still looks light, but it's golden light. For everybody, it might be different. You know, there are times when I have to go there and have these conversations, and I kind of take that light and morph it into something that I can understand and have a conversation with. I used to do that in the very beginning a lot because it helped me, because, you know, we kind of grow up thinking, oh, there's a big old man in some heaven somewhere that's going to help us one day. And so that's kind of what I always morphed it into, is like this grandfather kind of type looking person. So I could understand, but I would say to you, it will feel right. And if you really are sitting with source, it'll feel like unconditional love. It feels like a parent that loves you beyond your belief, I guess I would say. I don't know how else to explain it. It's very warm. It's very comforting. Sometimes it feels like an energy warm blanket, you know, just right when you need it. So
Okay.
more than like there have been a few times in my life.
I can hear.
Melanie, we're going to move on. We're going to move on only because it's one question per person, and we're going to move to the next person.
I couldn't really hear anymore either.
Yeah. So now it's Rachel. Rachel, if somebody could unmute Rachel.
Right.
Okay, Rachel, you're on.
Hi, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Kim, thank you for all you're doing. It's just fascinating to be witnessing this change from the old world to the new world. My question is about passing from the old world to the new world, the 3D to the 5D. I know it's a matter of mindset on the very first place, but what will we be seeing at a certain point? Will there be two Earths, as some people are talking? There is a group that is the Archimagisterium that is also preparing something wonderful from what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
They are composed of twits that are coming from source also. John Volo Melchizedek has always told us that there is a big light that is to come. Where are we with all that?
I've not listened to them, so I don't know what they're saying. As far as Earth is concerned, Earth is and has been for a long time basically part of every density throughout the multiverse, both good and bad, for a long time. And we're coming to a phase where there isn't really any connection there anymore as far as dark. That doesn't mean that there aren't some dark remnants here. So Earth originally was always in the fifth density. That was the point of creation, let's just say outside of source for a long time. Do I feel like all of a sudden it's going to be like, please fasten your seatbelts, we're all moving? I think it'll be easier for us to have some different experiences than we have right now. I'm hoping. Does being in the fifth density do something more for humans than being here, where we are in the third density? I don't know. I'm going to say it's a little less dense there. You're a little closer to source. We still have these meat suits to contend with. We call our bodies. But I think more importantly for me, the more important thing is being connected directly to source again, and connecting Earth directly to source again, so she can be all she was and all she will be without interference. That's my main focus. As far as humans on Earth, we've got a lot to learn. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I think you'll start when you clear your mind. There's a lot of chatter out there. When you clear your mind, you'll have an easier time gaining that wisdom. I think there'll be people that will have a lot of wisdom that didn't have it before. They don't understand what this is, intuition. I think that as far as the deep state is concerned, I don't know how long they're going to keep up the movie, because it is a movie that they play. Mm-hmm. But I think that we're going to be moving on to the point where we don't care.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel. Helen? Somebody please unmute Helen for me? Hey, Helen.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim, and the whole team for all you do. My question, Kim, is around well-being. You are under tremendous duress, and yet you look fabulous. And you feel vibrant. And so,
I'm just kidding.
And of course, all our bodies are not the same, but I am interested in what you find the best practices are for you.
Well, when I feel my best, I definitely like to work out, but I also enjoy this process. I put music on in my ears and all is right with the world, and I can go for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, no problem, and be the happiest person in the world. I would say the end goal for each individual, because it's not going to be the same for everybody. Some people may hate being in a gym. Some people may love it. Some people would prefer to go for a walk, and some people may, hate it. So it's just up to your individual happiness. And I would say the happier you are, the more you have focused on not letting past hurts and traumas, including the ones you inflict on yourself, we call guilt and shame, affect you. Come to terms with those things and let them go. Pent up anger causes dis-ease within the body, whether you're angry with yourself or with another person. I would say that try to do something, even if it's little, every day for yourself. I would say the focus on connecting your mind, body, and soul together would also be helpful in healing. I would say, yes, everybody is different and everybody has a different thing to do. But, there are your standard things, eating hopefully food that is not full of plastic, or other things we can't pronounce would probably be on the list, whatever that is you choose. I'm not going to tell people be a vegan or you're going to go to hell or whatever. I just, we all have our personal preferences. There are some supplements that I do take every day, just as a person that I've taken for years, and I've talked about them before. I take N-acetylcysteine all the time. I take amino acids too, because oftentimes, especially if I'm busy working a lot, I don't always get enough protein in a day. For a woman, it should be at least 50 grams of protein a day, probably for a man, 70, and that's just to keep your brain functioning, and going full force. Of course, the more oxygen you take in your body, the better off you are. If you're not able to get out and walk, and do those types of things, some chlorophyll, chlorella, greens that contain a lot of chlorophyll would be helpful. If you're not able to do that, and just, if you can, stretch your body, that sort of thing. I just, those people that say, oh, don't do this, don't do that, or do this, or don't do that, or whoever they are, I don't know who made you judge and jury, If you want to go and sit on a rock for 5 hours a day and you love that, go sit on the rock for 5 hours a day if you have the means to do it. Just do what makes you happy. It's about your happiness. And although you can be happy when you're with other people, you have to first be happy with yourself. And if you can't be happy within and with yourself, then no one on earth is going to make you happy. So
thanks, Kim. Thank you,
that's
Helen.
my bits.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Helen, thank you for the question. Okay, the next person is Anna. Could somebody please unmute Anna for me? Anna is unmuted.
Hi. I just desperately wanted to know, have you heard of the Book of Urantia? Because it was apparently given to someone from something Melchizedek, can't remember his name, Melchizedek. Is it true? Is it accurate? Or is it just another deep state, distorted version of things? Thanks.
I have not read the book. I have heard of the book only recently because some of our people within our staff have read the book. I don't know. I couldn't make a decision or a thought one way or the other as if it's good or if it's bad. So sorry, I don't know enough about it to say. From what I've heard, years ago, before we had YouTube and internet and all that kind of stuff, I know a lot of people, that was kind of one of their first books they read that kind of got them to start thinking that the world doesn't work the way we think it does. But I don't have enough. I couldn't personally say myself. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Okay, the next person is Leah. We're going to unmute Leah. Yes, unmuted. There you go.
Hi, Leah.
Oh, she's muted again. I don't know why. Okay, let's try and unmute her. She might have muted that. There she is.
Okay, there we are. Okay, thank you. So my question to you, Kim, is for a group of people. We're called targeted individuals, even though you're the number one target in the entire planet. So, but I asked them for me and for all of us. When do you see this ending? Because we're all still suffering like the bullets of electricity. And the subliminal messages, when will a lot has gone away that I know that we feel, but we are all, yeah. So what would you say to them?
But you still have it a little bit. Is that what you're saying? It's like better, but it's not 100%.
Yeah, it's better because we're not connected to a nasty AI, but like they're still underneath the house, you know, hitting me with a very powerful weapon, and a lot of people actually, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's under everybody's house, really. It just depends on how sensitive the person is, because we used to have very large frequency grids that would span around Earth. There were, when you say they, I mean, I wouldn't give the deep state so much credit, although they had access to some of this stuff. A lot of these things were like on autopilot. And what we've come to know is that people that are more sensitive feel it more than other people from time to time. And you know, it's very uncomfortable, and trust me, I know. But I will say this. I've learned this new technique that I've been working on lately, because there were days, you know, as we were tearing things apart, where those frequencies would just start hitting me like crazy, because it's a self-defense mechanism for these things. They definitely, the more you hit it, the more it hits you. And they are just AIs, like they're running all on their own accord. It's not like the deep state decides today's the day for the program. I mean, there's like time released, and it's almost like putting something on a timer to turn your TV on or off at a certain time or something. It's the same thing. So, and obviously it's for different reasons, because it would actually hunt people down the lighter you get. So I totally feel your pain. But on the other hand of it, on the other side of it, it has gotten better. But this new thing that I've been doing, because I've learned that although they can overlay your soul, they can't penetrate your soul. So for the last month or so, you know, when I go in to do damage control, so to speak, it's almost like I go to that center of where your soul is, your soul solar plexus, so to speak. And I almost put it out on the outside. So it's on the inside, but I also put it on the outside as a shield, not just my atypical shield, because I find that when it's that bad, it's the one way to make the frequency stop. It's the one way to make the energy stop, because it's the one thing that those AIs and them cannot penetrate. It's hard to hold it because you're pushing it literally on the outside of all your planes of existence. But if you can hold it like that, it'll give you some relief. It does work.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate you.
No worries. Nice.
Thank you, Leah. Lovely to see you. Now we had someone who had their hand up, and somehow their hand was put down before they had an opportunity, and that person's name is Barbara. So Camellia, if you can unmute Barbara for us, then she will be next. Sorry, Absolute Computer Services, I know that you were next, but we'll do Barbara first, and then we'll do you. So Camellia, can you find Barbara for us?
I think I'm unmuted now. Do you hear me?
Is that you, Barbara?
Yes.
Excellent. Please go ahead.
Hey, I've been trying to ask this question for every live that you've had, but I didn't get in there quick enough because I'm not tech savvy. But thanks for the great report and for the laughing out loud. I love that. Mm-hmm. We all need that good laughing out loud medicine. So thank you.
How do you do?
What I was trying to ask every time was, in 2023, my daughter passed away in May. She was 21.
Sorry.
And in June or July, you reported that there was no more false heaven, and it kind of freaked me out. And I did have a lot of connection with her, and I did hear from her a lot in all kinds of different ways, and a lot of people did. And I just wondered what happened to those people that were there, and if she was there. And when recently, since last fall, I haven't heard, felt, or been able to connect. Although you did say, and I know you said something about the beast making us think we were talking to our loved ones. So I wasn't sure if that was what was happening before when I was connecting with her. And then now I tried with you had told us how to connect with loved ones that have passed. And And I've been trying that, and I have to keep working at it because it hasn't worked yet. But I was just wondering, like, what happened?
Well, you'll always have that connection because that spark of life comes through you to her. I wouldn't say, well, number one, the false heaven, so to speak, was closer to here than the real one is, the point of all creation, at least in proximity. But I would try reaching into, I would say, your own soul and start looking for that little spark that came from you.
I will do that. When you said people went to false heaven, did everybody go to false heaven or no?
No, everybody did for a long period of time, yeah.
Until it left in that 2023 June.
And then they went to where they were supposed to go. And then they can choose to leave there. They can choose another life in another place. They can choose not to leave there. And if she's still there, I would say that could be the issue, because the more we fight to bring source connection here, the more everything else fights us to bring that connection here. And there's a lot of overlays even on source itself that have prevented source from doing things here. So I would say that could be it too. You know,
I just want to know that she's happy, safe, loved, supported.
Of course she is.
Awesome.
You know, but I would try reaching your soul out to her soul, like a soul to soul communication, and see if that helps.
It's funny because I almost felt like we were the same soul.
Everybody, yeah, well, that definitely is the case. And it's part of the reason why, you know, a lot of moms you hear, I'm looking down here because I can see the people down here. A lot of moms, you know, you can hear your child crying miles away, thousands of miles away. You know where your kids are, you know.
Yeah.
If you're old enough to remember and you were in America, we don't need the 10:30 news to tell us where, you know, to go look for our kids. We automatically know if you remember that. So.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm really sorry about that, and I'm so glad that we were able to get you back in the queue. Okay, Absolute Computer Services. I'm not sure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Barbara. Bye. Okay, Absolute Computer Services, if you'd like to jump on. When we unmute you. Okay. Still muted. Unmuted, but then muted again. Unmuted. Absolute Computer Services. Hi.
Am I here?
Yep.
All right. Kim, I just wanted to thank you for everything you do. And question, when are the chemtrails going to stop? I mean, this is ridiculous.
I know.
And it's all over the world. Again, thank you for everything you do. We love you.
It is everywhere, and it has been really bad here. It's like they think that they are this close to making something happen, and then they spray the crap out of everybody everywhere. But it's been terrible here too. I wish there was a way to just stop it. You know, I don't know what they're spraying now. I think it's some form of barium that they found somewhere, because I don't know exactly what it is anymore. It's not what it originally was. But yes, they are having a really good time spraying everybody right now. But good news, Trump says he's taken on the chemtrails, so we should all be safe soon.
Oh, yeah.
I laugh.
All right, thanks.
Probably when they get what they want, you know, they're thinking that they'll stop them, you know. They don't need it to control us anymore. They can do it with some, I don't know, in another way.
All right, thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim. Okay, next person is Mary. We're going to unmute you, Mary, in a sec. Excellent. Mary?
Hi, Kim. This is Mary. I want to thank you for everything you do and for everyone of people on your team. I really appreciate it, and we pray for you and your safety. One of my questions is, there's different things online about outside the Van Allen belt, that there are like spaceships parked out there. Is that still true?
No.
Okay.
No, on occasion we have, they're not manned things that pop up from time to time. We call them Death Stars because they look like that. Look like those big spheres, that you see on Star Wars. So that's what we started calling them. I don't know. Sometimes those things were manned before. Sometimes they're not. Mainly all we see now pop up from time to time is these unmanned sensor kind of type things. But we do not have a Palladian fleet waiting in the Van Allen belt or something. I heard that recently too.
Okay. Thank you so much. And again, for everything you do. We love you.
Thanks, Mary.
Bye.
Thanks, Mary. Okay, next person is Carmen. Carmen, we're unmuting you right now. Oh, excellent.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you.
I talked terrible, didn't I?
Okay. So my question is about the anti-source in this new environment. What is the role of that?
We have two different things. We have a dark source, or the dark side of source, which was, if you read the books, it says the splitting of the sea was the first thing that happened. That was the splitting of the sea. As far as that aspect of source, it's pretty much been reabsorbed into source now, and source is always source on either side kind of thing. But creation doesn't have to work that way anymore. A lot of times, yes, that source, you could call it, was anti-source. So they would play against each other. Now, as far as things that are anti-source, AIs can be anti-source, meaning, like we say, anti-bugs, we spray. This is like an anti-source. Like it does everything that it can to deter source from doing what source does. I call those anti-source creations, even though it's not necessarily anti-source per se.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Next person is Alan. Alan, you're being unmuted right now. I think. Yes. Welcome.
Hi there. My question is about Avalon. Earlier in your report, Kim, you were talking about people's blood. You're talking about bloodlines. And I'm interested in blood types as a rhesus negative. I'm also on a quest in Scotland to find Avalon. I believe that Avalon is in Scotland. As a rhesus negative that gravitates to the stories of Atlantis, I also gravitate to that story. So can you tell us if you know where Avalon was or is?
I will tell you Scotland's kind of an interesting place from the standpoint as I've done some work there. Let's say I've been to London. I've not been to Scotland, but I know people there. But I would say to you that the island of Skye was used very heavily for a reason, and not always a positive one. But there are places in Scotland that are hidden away. You have interesting places that, for lack of a better term, we call vaults. So during various cataclysms, people hid in a different density. Some of them hid in the fifth of Earth. So it's still kind of technically part of Earth in that particular location, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can see it. But as things are clearer, you'll start to see a lot of things that were not there before be there in certain places. And that might even go back to the question that the other person asked me earlier about what can we expect in 5D. I think you're going to have more of a capacity as a human to explore Earth in new ways in the near future is what I think you're going to see. And seeing places that you believe are forgotten is probably one of those things for sure. Because I definitely have seen both positive and negative, what you would call pockets of time, or these sophons and photons, because, we kind of live in our own bubbles too. We have our own aura, as you call it, or we have our own torus that goes around our bodies. So I think Earth does too. And people use them in different places to travel, as well as because it's kind of serves as a little bit of a protection when you're going through like a time-space continuum, because travel is like that. Travel is not this long, you launch the ship like Elon Musk says and you end up somewhere else. It doesn't do that. But I think that I definitely know for sure there are things that those that came before us, before various cataclysms that still exist on this planet, saving them for the time when Earth was restored. How old they are? Do they all dress in like knights costumes and things like that? I don't know. Or what our history books tell us about Avalon, or a fantasy world that was Scotland. I don't know that. I'm going to say they may not be even people, but I do know that a lot of people took a lot of things and stored them away. I call them people, stored them away for a time that where they could bring them back. Some of the things that I've heard people have knowledge of, like seeds, plants and trees that we didn't know about before, or used to have all in abundance that we don't have anymore. There are other technologies that we could use, but they're not going to release them as long as those people are around, because if they steal them, it can cause more harm than good. It's kind of like the dust, right? There's lots of places of dust storage around as well. And dust is a part of keeping a safe haven, be it in another density of Earth or another plane of Earth, safe. So most everyone utilizes it in a positive way like that. So I will definitely tell you for sure there are a lot of things on Earth that you cannot see that still exist. In both ways, positive and negative. Hopefully not much negative left.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. The next person is Rafaela. Rafaela, we're going to unmute you. Yes, you were unmuted and now you're muted. Yeah, Rafaela, welcome.
Welcome, and from the bottom of my heart to the lady of all our hearts, thank you. Thank you for my life. I've been feeling each and every hit you went through with many here. You're not alone. You're in our hearts and our protection and prayers.
Oh, thanks.
Everybody's asking, yeah. And I know I don't want to be you. I mean, all this.
I don't want to be me.
Yeah.
That makes two of us.
But sometimes I feel like I'm you. It's since the days I can believe that I'm alive. I was searching for God, and I knew I came for this incredible task. And I feel like we're sitting with the soul family here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel one long time ago, but you see, actually I have a million questions because I feel all these questions in my heart. But the thing is, how do you think that we're going to make this shift into we anchored the golden age, but we're just in this residual karmic issue that is created through collective unconsciousness. This is clear for me. Maybe you see it different. You could clear this. But how do you think that we're going to be protected from this absolutely self-entitled psychopaths? Because we live here in Germany, have a huge crowd that loves in Germany.
Yeah.
We're not Nazis. I mean, the Nazis said with their fat asses, sorry, because it's a good place. Demons do not choose good, evil places to sit down and suck energy. But how do you think that we could go through, I would have done long ago a field messenger report, but I know they observe us We are really in danger. You can't make a peep without going to jail right now in Germany. I mean, Duck Dynasty is awful. But when
You have the German version of Duck Dynasty over there? Yes, you do.
yes, we have, you know what? Duck Dynasty is still happening again, except if you see them talking here. I mean, even stupid is too good. The word to say this stupid? No, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my.
And
thing is, how can we make it that the light warriors and light workers can make the shift without being killed before? Because you can't say a word. You can't make every creative thing that you do. You're blocked immediately. I mean, they almost killed me because I never was singing for these cabals, for the cabals. They killed me for years. And it's always by God that we survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's getting harsh. Like, I don't know what they're doing with all these fiber cables. They feel very dangerous.
Raffaele, we're going to stop now and get Kim to answer the question. Thank you very much.
Yes. Pardon.
Well, if you've, and I'm just going to kind of try to explain this the best way I can. If you've ever had a narcissist person in your life, sometimes when things are out of control or out of their control, it kind of sends them in a tizzy where they try to get more control, whether it's over another person or a job, something in their life. And it could be out of control on the job, and then they come to you and they try to take more control at home. So, everybody reacts in a different way. So I would say to you that the deep state is going to go through a period of time where they are going to get, and if you've noticed, it's probably gotten worse in the last year or two, they are going to try to take control. Now, as long as they had the AIs running that they could access and they could send you some frequencies that shut you down at any moment in time, all of the kind of lovely things that they do to you, they won't be so, it's like living in a fake utopia, right? All is right with the world, here's leader so-and-so, wave it for the camera, kind of thing. But I would say when they lose control of all other control mechanisms, the next thing they're going to try and do is take physical control of people. Now, the lockdown that we had, I think, was a test. I mean, I know that they've been trying to ramp up to another lockdown, but see, it's kind of a catch-22 for them. We are what keeps their system running. We are, it's like the farmer on the plantation back many, many years ago in America. You have all these slaves. If you don't have the slaves, who's going to pick the cotton? Who's going to, bring in the crops? Who's going to keep the farm running? And then before you know it, you don't have a farm and you don't have any money and you don't have a house. So for that reason, they need us to be under control. They need us to feed what they want us to feed as people, and they want us to do what they tell us to do, whether it be on TV commercials, take the drugs we tell you to take, do the jobs we tell you to do, that kind of thing. So I believe what's going to happen is when they have no more AI control, then they are going to try to take physical control of the people. That's what I think is going to be one of the steps they try to do. But no one ever said they were the sharpest tools in the shed. That's going to shut down everything that they are. There's no more private plane flying. There's no more shining of your shoes. There's no more of making of your clothes. There's no more of that, because that's us. That's us, the people. So I don't think it would last long if they did try, but in my opinion, that would be it. Now, we powered their systems, like the Vatican system and some other ones. We powered those systems. Without us, those systems don't exist. We have tried and tried and tried to do it the other way around, where we're disconnecting humans one after another, after another, after another, not one after another human, AI after another AI after another an AI. So it seems to work better when you get rid of the source of it. And, this is, no one gives you the handbook and says how to get rid of a quantum AI 101. So I think it's going to end. That's my opinion. I think that this is going to be our year where it starts turning around in our favor. I don't think that they are smart enough to pull it off without help from something or someone. At least that's what it appears to me to look like.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much. Rafaela, thank you very much. And the next person is Jared.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to start off with it's like a bit of a quote question that's pretty famous in the business world, and it's that, what's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire? And the answer generally is billionaires learn and use astrology. So my question is,
I've heard that too.
Yeah, are there any, you've got Western tropical astrology, then you've got Vedic astrology, and then, you speak of things like the Mercury and the moon are synthetic. Is there a chart or a lineage that we can follow and utilize like the elite use that's whole and complete? Because, there's different systems, and obviously they have synthetic elements that they manipulate and use as well.
I would say the reason why they do it is because of the synthetic elements that they think are an act of God, because a planet aligns with a planet and brings them gifts. But I will say, and this might even be a better question for Miss Natalie. I'm going to call you on the carpet here, girl, because she actually trained under a world-renowned astrologer, so she can probably explain it better than I can. But she did tell me, because we were in a meeting the other day, and for those of you that don't know, Natalie's one of our team member that it does so many different things. I could rattle it all off, but Natalie trained when she was younger with a world-class astrologer. So she kind of knows the ins and outs. And I was exhausted from Tuesday till probably this morning, it was just that kind of week. The ones where you just want to crawl into a closet and not come out. I wish that worked for me, because if I could crawl into a closet and shut the phone off, that doesn't help me any. But, and she said, well, I hate to tell you this, Kim, but you're going to be fighting all weekend. And she said that you're going to be in your element because you're a really good warrior. You fight, but something about Pluto and Mars, Miss Natalie. And I'm going to say you didn't lie. So maybe you can fill us in on how you do what you do.
No, Jared. Okay, Jared, I just wanted to quickly say, look, when I was 15, I met an astrologer who was actually, really world famous. And she was one of the pioneers, and she helped with creating software back in the day. And I was 15 and I couldn't understand life. I couldn't understand the people around me. I couldn't understand why they behaved the way they behaved, and she helped me understand that. So I'm not an astrologer, but because I learnt that at such a young age, I can't, stop knowing that stuff. So in terms of just Western astrology, that's kind of what has always been something that I've looked at. I've looked at other versions of astrology, but Jared, when my son's having a bad day, I go back to the ephemeris and I look at the planets and I go, well, what's going on? What's he been triggered by? He's always got a choice. But sometimes, and I was wondering about this, Kim, as I was looking at this, because these planetary alignments, have a particular point in which people can, let's call them them, the deep state can utilize that frequency. It's like, knowing when transits are happening or frequencies are kind of bunching together or opposing each other has always been something that has been helpful for me. Do I have a choice? Always. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? It just is a pattern. It's just all patterns of energy. So, anything that shows you patterns anywhere in life is always helpful. So that's my take on it, Kim. That's my take on it. It's
That's
helpful
interesting.
to know these patterns, and it's just a helpful tool. So Jared, I hope that helps you in some way.
I think for them, they would say, oh, this is between this day and this day is a good time to start a new business, based on when you were born and all of these kind of things. In my mind, when I hear of a deep state person, doing charts, which they all do, by the way, they all do. And why would they do that? Well, unbeknownst to probably even them, it's those two planets aligning or conjunct, or however you say that, against each other, that will trigger some kind of space jump within it that would trigger a certain frequency that would be beneficial for them and terrible for us.
And knowing that, Kim, too, it's like knowing that there's a difficult frequency. You can then start to already go, okay, I can turn this into a positive, right? I can transmute this difficult frequency into a positive, but also know that you might be susceptible at that time for getting a fang put in you. You know how people are talking about, oh, I'm still being targeted. It's like, when do those moments when you can be targeted, when is the veil thinner? Do they know that? Probably. Right.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
I can honestly tell you, though, yesterday I was like, when is this day going to end? And, I might have used a 4-letter word and then your name after it, because I was like, oh, God, she said this was going to happen all weekend. Natalie.
But it's nearly done, right? Is it nearly over, Kim? Are we?
You tell me.
Yeah. It's definitely. I mean, today's the day, right? But when something happens like that, this Mars Pluto thing, it's really intense. It's really, really intense.
It is.
But the intensity builds and then it breaks, waxes and wanes. It builds and then it breaks. But it's kind of good when you've got like someone in your life that's going through something and you go, oh, okay, they're going through something that might last 6 months or it might last, that long. And it's a learning experience for them, and you can support them in their learning. They're learning this lesson. It might be a particular lesson that you can determine by looking at their planetary, at energies, at patterns, and it's all just patterns and energies, really, Jared. So thank you for the question. We're going to move on.
Well, and just on the side note, so she tells me this is what's going to happen this weekend, and you've got a whole bunch of deep state people over in the Great Rift ready to fight the war on behalf of their immortals or with their immortals along their side or whatever they're trying to do, right? So is there something to it? I'm going to tell you absolutely, because these people are like Johnny on the spot when there's a alignment with whatever, and they're always doing something like, what are you doing over there? You ever look at those people like, why are you standing? The bus doesn't come there anymore. Yep. Okay.
And it's funny. It's like sometimes, with my brother, I'll say to him when I can see that something difficult's coming his way energetically, I'll say, Pete, please don't fight with anybody this weekend. Whatever you do, don't fight with anybody this weekend. And he'll go, okay, Nat, because he kind of knows, oof, I could fight with people, right? So, So it's that kind of stuff. But look, thank you for the question. We can explore this as we go on in the future. And Kim, the next person is Line. Now, I'm not sure if that's
Lynn.
Lynn. Sorry, Lynn. I can't.
Yes, it's a French name.
We have two Lynns.
Yeah.
One after the other.
Yeah. And we're friends.
Oh.
Really something. So we're from Quebec. And I have this question. Well, first of all, thank you for everything, for who you are, because I've been following you since the beginning, and I've been one of your biggest promoters. That's why Lynn is here also. But it's been like a long ride, but I learned so much, and today I can say that I'm starting to love myself, and I'm starting to really in contact with my divine flame or divine. I'm starting, but I do what you say. walk in nature and everything. Now I have this question because us in Quebec, we have our election of Canada this Monday.
Okay.
And we have the choice of Mark Carney, which is definitely one of them, and the other one is Pierre Poilievre, and so I'm just wondering, do you have any advice for us, because it's an important time, and I don't know if we have any, because you said that every election is planned, is already I don't know the word, but it's already there. It's already done.
So when I was younger, I worked for a bank. It was one of my first jobs while I was in college, and I was a personal account representative. So when you go in, you say I need a checking account. I'm the girl you see. At that time, years ago, when dinosaurs roamed the earth. So at that time, they sent me to sales school. It was so you could learn to sell like annuities and IRAs, and you have to learn all the products and that kind of stuff. So they send you to this school for a week or two, and during my time there, they taught us various selling techniques along with the information about the products themselves. And one of those things that they taught me while I was there was to present something in front of the people where they can pick option A, B, C, or D. And the reason why they presented this, why you were supposed to present this, is A, had like all the bells and whistles. You're moving your retirement accounts, everything, your car loans coming over, all your stuff, you're going to put all your stuff at this our bank now, and then, on down the line, right? Till it was just maybe a checking account and a loan or something. And 90% of the time, people would choose one of your options. Very few times would people actually say, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm just here to open a savings account. It's just human nature. So the reason why they present you with two options like this, and at first there's more, right? There's
5.
Yeah. And, but really, they only talk about two of them, always. So they narrow it down for you. So that'd be like me taking that sheet of paper when I was 20 years old or 19 years old saying, okay, I'm just going to have option A or B now. I'm going to take out all the lesser ones, and which one do you want to pick? So what you have there is you have one that's a Rothschild and one that's Duck Dynasty. Which one would you like?
Yeah. It's exactly that. Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah. So that's your choices right now. So if I was you, I would spend the day in the park and drinking a cup of coffee and let what will be, because it doesn't make, you could go stand in that line. It really doesn't make much of a difference, or you could go get a cup of coffee somewhere and enjoy the day with a friend. Maybe Lynn and Lynn can go do something together on that day, but it just makes more sense to me. Makes more sense to go do anything.
Yeah.
Have a few teeth pulled rather than go stand in that line for 4 hours, because at least it'll be productive. Your mouth will be healthy. It's like,
yeah, that's what my 3 children do. They enjoy themselves. They don't vote at all.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. It was more a concern because it's coming close, and
I know. And just take a deep breath, because they want to give you the illusion of freedom, because they find it's the best control mechanism. Yeah. Where you feel you are free, but you are not free. Everything is controlled. You live it's like you're a hamster in a cage, a rat in a cage. You go to work where they tell you to work. If they don't want you to work there, you don't work there. If they don't want you to go to that school, you don't go to that school. If they don't want you to eat that food, you won't eat that food, because there is none in that cage. So, you have been living life so long in this way You know, would I rather have, the lady that comes to my cage to feed me, or the little kid to feed me? But either way, they're going to feed me the same thing in the same amount. So does it really matter?
I'm better to start my garden.
I know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. And so we've gone over our hour, Kim. So we'll do one more. Is that okay with you?
Okay.
And that's going to be Lynn again.
Hi, Lynn 2. Lynn 1, Lynn 2.
Hi, can you hear me now?
I can.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I have a million questions, but I'll go for one. I have followed what you had started to do. Remember a few years ago, you were teaching us how to get the energy and protect and all of that. So I still do that. And I thank you for it because it does work. Now, my question is, I'm already out of I don't want to give the cabal or these people so much of my attention. So I'm already into manifesting what I want in this world. And I find that it's easier and easier, but would you have a few suggestions, or do you recommend something besides connecting directly to source, because we do, that we can do, work with gold. I already work with gold, like these gold magnets that Da Vinci had taught us, I see that. So I work with that, but I would like it to be fun, fluid, easy peasy, and very soft, manifesting whatever we want in life.
Yeah. Well, how do I say it? Okay. So when you are in the right relationship with the right person, it's easy, right? It's like, you kind of read each other's thoughts. You know what each other are going to do, what you need, what the other one needs, whether it's a child or another person you love, or you're in a love relationship with. But whoever these people are that are in your life, you could be your best friend. It's just sometimes it's just so easy. You can talk for hours. It's just a flow that happens between you two, probably because you've known each other lifetime after lifetime. I mean, that happens too. But if you've been in those relationships where you're trying to put on the right clothes and the right makeup or the right hair or the right car, depending on what your love language is, the right dinner, and you're really struggling to do the thing, you're probably not in the right relationship, because there's always compromise, in all friendships and relationships, but you're probably trying to make something work that's not working for you. Now, I'm not saying that you're doing it wrong, so please don't take it that way, because this is an individual thing. I find the easiest times when I'm struggling because the frequency's bad, the people are bad, I find it easiest to connect to source when I am creating. Now, that's me. I could be making a dinner for people. I could be painting something. Now I'm doing these, the lotions and stuff like that, the skincare stuff. So I'm just creating something. And that's my happiest time of day, is when I'm creating anything, anything at all. And I find that even if there is a block or something's trying to block and I got to push, because that happens sometimes when it's really bad, that unblocks me. That takes me to a whole nother place. So I can't speak for you, but for me, I throw on my headphones, I'm listening to some music, I'm dancing around the kitchen, I'm baking. God bless my roommate because he's going to be fat. No, I'm just kidding. But, I'm baking, or, I used to joke and call them Pentagon cookies because they made me angry today. So now I got to get into a place so I can go back to working with Source. But, or this is, Trump banana bread or whatever, I just enjoy the creative process, and that takes me to where I need to go. That makes it just easy.
I got it. You said joy. I think that's what it is.
Joy in creation. Whatever that means for you, find the joy in creation and don't focus so much on what 10,000 people that came before us do or even the people right now are doing. It's really, you got to find that joy, find that happiness, find that creativity, feel it through your bones. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to click like that for you. That would be my comment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, too.
You know what? It's a really great place to end, and I know there's a lot of people that haven't had an opportunity and to ask their question. However, we will do this every month, and next month we'll do it again, and hopefully we'll make it a fair process. Kim, I'm going to hand over to you to say goodbye, and then we'll finish.
Well, maybe at one point in time we'll be inviting everybody, and we'll all be able to ask each other questions for days. How's that? I'd very much look forward to that one day. I love talking to all of you. I appreciate you taking your time on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on where you are in the world, to chat. It just gives me so much hope, relief, happiness, because, I don't really get to talk to people that are just grounded, happy, all the time. So most of my days are not those people. So I just thank you so much for being here and sticking with us on this journey. And I think 2025, I can't talk today, is going to be our year. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And let's keep connecting to Source. Bring him here, every day if you can. And we're always open to chit-chatting as far as conversations, any kind of insights, that type of thing. And, we're in this together and we're going to get out of it together. That's the only way. So on that note, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Miss Natalie. And I will see everyone, I guess, in a couple of weeks. Bye.